So with the ratings reveal for championship clubs in FIFA 21 right around the corner, I thought for today's video we'd take a bit of a trip down memory lane. We'll be looking at every championship club's most overpowered player from the past few FIFAs. These were the sort of players who would be resulting in smash controllers and that you just hated to come up against. Some of them are a little bit more niche than others, but if you do remember any from down the years, to get them in the comments down below. Before we do hop into anything though, a big shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. As always, you can find the new OneFootball app in the top line or the description down below. Really cool, handy app to have as we are heading into this new season. Now, if you want to get live updates to your phone, or if you want to keep updated with any transfer speculation or news articles going on around your club, it's really handy to have. And you can now also watch selected UEFA Champions League and UEFA Europa League qualifying matches for free over on the app. So what's not to like? Got a bunch of cool new features about it. Check it out down below. But without any further ado, let's hop into this one. Starting out with Bournemouth, their FIFA 17 Asmir Begovic. This guy was an absolute nightmare to come up against. He's had an interesting journey in his career so far. Obviously a top goalkeeper from his time at Stoke, did well at Chelsea as their number 2. And then since he's arrived at Bournemouth, hasn't quite perhaps lived up to those heights. He started out alright there, but has had a couple of loan moves out since. Is one of their biggest earners in the squad at the moment, but has been actually playing for them recently, hasn't he? So I'm interested to see what the long-term future for Begovic is. But listen, back in the day, a 6'7" goalkeeper in FIFA, he cost about 800 coins, and you knew you were in for a game when this guy was in there. Barnsley were taking it back to FIFA 14 with Scott Wiseman. Now, this was back in an era where bronze and silver cards were actually usable on the game, and Scott Wiseman was right up there in terms of bronze teams back in the day with that 84 pace. He actually made his move from Barnsley to my side, Preston North End. We got promoted with Scott Wiseman in the squad, could either play as a centre-half or as a right-back, but anyone with above 80 pace and was a centre-back on FIFA 14 would cost an arm and a leg. Birmingham were going to FIFA 12's in-form Nikola Zigic. Oh my days, the amount of headers that you would score with this guy was absolutely off the charts. He was a bit of a cult hero for Birmingham as well, wasn't he, for all his cup final antics against Arsenal. 90 heading he had on this game. He was an absolute unit. Blackburn Rovers FIFA 12's in-form Christopher Samba. This was the player that QPR thought they were getting when they originally signed him, wasn't it? His glory days in England very much were spent with Blackburn Rovers. He was an absolute rock in that defence, and this card on FIFA, 80 pace, 89 defending and 91 physical. He was an absolute beast. There was absolutely no getting past this guy back in the day. Brentford were going to FIFA 12's Miles Weston. Do I need to say anything more about this one? Roll the clip.
Hey guys, Matt here, and welcome to Bronze Beasts.
If you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say. Bristol City were going for FIFA 15's Team of the Season, Aiden Flint. Now, I have a lot of fond memories from this FIFA and this year of football in general. It was the year that Preston were promoted from League One alongside Bristol City. And, I mean, I've seen on Twitter recently a lot of praise has been given to a defender like Sergio Ramos. I think he got 13 goals last season for Real Madrid. Aiden Flint was one of the most prolific centre-halves in League One that season. He scored 15 goals in all competitions. Cardiff were going for Wilfred Zaha in FIFA 14. Now, this guy was expensive. Once again, like we mentioned before, this was like the peak of when Silvers really were quite good on the game. To be honest, this was just a bit of a weird season for Cardiff in general this time, wasn't it? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the manager. They were playing in the red home kit. They ended up getting relegated from the Premier League, and Wilfred Zaha was a bit of a flop there. Coventry City, Callum Wilson's Team of the Season card from FIFA 14. Now, I'm going to have to revisit and do another Academy ranking videos for all the new clubs that we've had come into the Championship. Coventry have got to be right up there. Some of the product that they managed to produce. Callum Wilson being a prime example of that. This season in League One scored 22 goals for them. From then on, he ended up getting his move to Bournemouth and then subsequently is now playing for Newcastle, but this card would absolutely smash things up. Derby County, Nathan Tyson from FIFA 13. Now, from his time at Derby, he wasn't exactly prolific in real life. He only scored 4 goals in his 2 seasons there, but in FIFA, whole different ball game. 91 pace in FIFA 13. I think it's fair to say he scored more goals on FIFA that year than he ever did for Derby. Now, Huddersfield Town had quite possibly one of the most overpowered perfect links in FIFA 13, linking up Jermaine Beckford. First of all, he's in the same category as Tyson from Derby. Pacey English striker, I think he had a 5-star weak foot as well. But it was the fact that he had a perfect link with Oscar Goben, who had 90 pace as a centre mid. These two were coming as a pair, and as soon as you saw them, it was game over. Luton Town have gone for James Collins' Team of the Season card in FIFA 19. Now, Luton had the disadvantage of not really being on the old school FIFAs as they weren't in the Football League at the time, but I'd say the most overpowered card that I've ever used from Luton was James Collins on last year's FIFA. I mean, look at those stats. He's a bit of a unit it, but he's also got a bit of pace about him. He absolutely smashed it up for Luton in League One that year. Middlesbrough, of course, it's going to be Marvin Emnes. There was loads of hype around this guy back in FIFA 13. Do you know when you like a player in real life because you played with them on FIFA? That was my experience with Marvin Emnes. I remember growing up when I was like 11 or 12 or something, I played with him on FIFA and I just watched out for him in real life. Obviously, he smashed it a few years at Middlesbrough, then went to Swansea for a bit. I've always just had a bit of a soft spot for him for that reason. For Millwall, we've got Osborne once again. This one brings back memories. To put it into context, if you didn't play FIFA 13, this guy would go for like upwards of like 50k. And it was all about that 81 pace. He was absolutely unmatched in that area. He was really strong as well. Honestly, these are the days of FIFA that I miss, to be honest with you. Norwich City, we're going for FIFA 12's Alexander Tete. Amazingly still at the club. He's been there since 2012. Another player here who would make it into all the Premier League silver teams with that 84th place. He's a dominating midfielder. He may no longer have that sort of pace on these days FIFAs, but back in the day he was a real gem. Nottingham Forest, Robbie Findlay from FIFA 12. This guy didn't stick around in England for all too long. He had a relatively brief spell with Forest. Things in England didn't really work out for him. A player gifted with a bunch of pace, but didn't have all too much else to his game. In FIFA though, that was all that mattered. Press North End, I'm going to go for Shirley Maguire's SBC card from FIFA 20, so the most modern card that we've got on today's video, but I have played an unhealthy amount of FIFA with this guy playing up front for me. 98 pace. Balance and agility were all up there. He'd just be able to glide his way through players. A lot of people I think used him as an impact super sub, didn't they? Last year he probably didn't have his best season in real life, but in FIFA he was wrecking controllers left, right and centre. Queen's Park Rangers, second in form, Adult Raps from FIFA 11. I mean, 5-star skills on FIFA 11, need I say more? This guy was rare in this game as well. Like, informs weren't being packed left, right and centre. He was going for an absolute fortune. And just like he was in real life, just silky on the ball. For Reading, we're going to Royston Drenthe of FIFA 14. Now, this one is a massive throwback. He was tipped for such big things in real life after playing for Real Madrid. He somehow then ended up at Reading, and at the time it seemed like a massive statement of signing for them. But things didn't really work out there. He had a brief loan spell out to Sheffield Wednesday as well, and his career just seemed to fall off a cliff from what was such an early promising start. But in FIFA 14, he was the go-to guy. Rotherham United, we're going for FIFA 14's team of the season, Kieran Agard. I'm not going to lie, in real life, this guy absolutely broke my heart. He ripped us apart in the playoff semi-final second leg. Rotherham were promoted from League One that year, but he was absolutely on top of his form. 26 goals he scored for Rotherham that year. Sheffield Wednesday, we're going to Mikel Antonio. Are you really that surprised?
It's a right mid. Silva plays for Sheffield Wednesday. And with stats like these, you have to wonder why he's that cheap. Because this guy is insane.
Stoke City, we have arguably the best goalkeeper on any FIFA ever. FIFA 17 Jack Butland was absolutely unstoppable. I can't even imagine how many controllers this guy ended up being responsible for being smashed for. You just could not find a way past him. It's a far cry from where he is in real life now, not being able to get into that Stoke side, but wow, FIFA 17 Jack Butland was something else, wasn't he? Swansea City, we are going for FIFA 12 Scott Sinclair. Obviously, Swansea fans will have terrific memories of him hat-trick in the playoff final. And on FIFA 12, he was seriously expensive. He was in the hype of all the English silvers at the time. 92 pace and 82 dribbling. Obviously, myself as a North End fan, I've got very high hopes from this season, but for Swansea, he was electric. Watford, of course, we're going for FIFA 15's Victor Ibarbo. This guy would just pop up in your nightmares. He would absolutely terrorise Ultimate Teams. I think he'll go down in folklore as one of the most overpowered players to ever be on the game. But in real life, Watford fans didn't really get to see all too much of him. He only played 4 matches. I'd love to get some Watford fans' opinions in the comments down below of what you actually made of his time with you guys in real life. Rounding it off then with Wickham, Akinfenwa's Halloween card on FIFA 17. Now, when he was given a pace card, it was all over. I think he's held the title now as being the strongest player in the game for the past several FIFAs, hasn't he? His physicals don't need any boosting, but when he did get that pace boost, a fun card to use. You just gotta love the guy. I think that everyone's used this card in FIFA at this point, haven't they? But guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. So there was every championship club and who I believe to be their most overpowered player in FIFA. When the championship ratings do eventually get released for FIFA 21, I will be doing a bit of a reaction to that, so if you'd like to see that, then make sure to leave a like on today's video. But thanks for sticking around, guys. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe for a bit of regular championship content. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.